Hey guys, we're back again with another video, and I know I've been missing in action, MIA, and that's just because things have been super busy, which I will share with you guys what I've been up to, maybe closer to the date, but just not right now, and it is super excited. I do plan to not let another week go by without posting a video or two videos as I promised every single week. So I'm going to keep to that, and I'm going to try as much as how busy and chaotic things get. But let's talk boxing. We just had the fight that happened on Saturday night with Jai Opetaia, and honestly, I do feel for him. Watching his post-fight interview and him getting really emotional about the sacrifices that he made to become IBF world champion and being IBF world champion, I do feel for him. As you know, if you don't know, if you do know, that the IBF, stripped him of his IBF world title just before his fight with Brandon Glanton, and because they decided to not sanction the fight. And so I could imagine going into the fight and knowing that it could also play with your mental. But he won convincingly against Glanton, and again put on a phenomenal performance for what we know Jai Opetaia to be. But I do feel for him watching that. I do, because he went in, probably signing with Zuffa Boxing, thinking that, he's going to progress and move forward in his career. And then we all know that Jai Opetaia has been very vocal at the fact that he wants to become undisputed cruiserweight champion. And then having one of the world titles taken away from you, it could feel like you're taking a step back. So it could feel demotivating, especially when that was your first fight with Zuffa Boxing, and it was hyped up because it was the first inaugural title with Zuffa, which incredible, yes, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And, Dana White has criticized the IBF for what they've done, and he's called it odd and very unprofessional, especially at the fact that Jai Opetaia paid his sanctioning fees before the fight took place, because the communication was that, and the word was that the IBF title will be on the line. I think it's one of those where more information will come out as the weeks go on, especially to the lead up to this fight. There was a lot of back and forth, and I didn't really even want to talk about it as so much because I just didn't know what was true and what wasn't. I only like to talk about things which I see that, is via a liable source, and I just couldn't tell like what was going on with that IBF belt. But yeah, it's sad. And do you know what? It would just be interesting to see how it plays out, because the question now is like, what does his career and his future look like, for him to be able to attain his goal? And I'm rooting for Jai Opetaia, man. He seems like a really cool guy watching his interview. Seems like a lovely guy, down to earth. He's here to fight, no nonsense type of guy. So I do honestly wish him all the best. But the thing that I'm now thinking is that Dana White, I watched an interview and he said that he wants elite boxers, and he wants boxers that will become, or has the potential to become, future world champions. And I just think in a situation like this, questions will then start to arise, and especially for boxers looking in, they'll probably start thinking, what will the relationship look like for new promoters and traditional sanctioning bodies? Will this make them want to even sign with Super Boxing? I don't know. It's one of those things that they'll probably have to consider. But interesting, there's so much talk right now for the world of boxing. And it's even got me thinking, like, what does the future of boxing actually look like with having a new promoter like Super Boxing, with having the Saudis in? Like, it's slowly changing, because at first, when we saw the fights that were being made with the Saudis, they were working heavily with Eddie Hearn and with Frank Warren. We were seeing a lot of those fights being made with them. But now it's like slowly, it's not. It's kind of like Ring. It's like a Ring magazine fight, or it's with Zella, or now Zuffa Boxing. So now it's getting me thinking, what does the future of boxing look like? Usyk has also shared with the Ring the 3 opponents that he'll be having for his final fights before he hangs up the gloves. Now, first is Rico Verhoeven, the kickboxing star. And fair enough, this is a unique event that'll be taking place in front of the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Interesting. I'm just so intrigued to see how it will how it will happen, you know, how it's going to look, how production are going to do it, especially as somebody who works in production. I'm just interested to see it all come together and how it, like, I'm really intrigued in that regard. And fair enough, this is a voluntary defense. Secondly, he wants the winner of Fabio Wardley versus Daniel Dubois. And to be honest, this just makes me want Fabio Wardley to win even more, because it just gives the opportunity for a fresh challenger to be able to go head to head with one of the best heavyweights in this era, right? And we would love to see it. We've already seen Daniel Dubois versus Usyk twice. For the third time, can you imagine Fabio Wardley and Usyk head to head in the ring? That's a spectacle that I would like to see. Love to see it. And third one is, as he says, his hungry belly Fred Fury. And you know what? I've been very vocal. I've received the backlash. I've received the comments from you guys because I've said that I'm a Fury fan and I think he's good for boxing. So you guys know that I love Fury, okay? I love him. But a third time after Usyk has already won twice against him? Man, oh man, I don't know. But do you know what? Usyk is, he will be bowing out as a legend. I think he'll bow out undefeated, personally. I think he'll bow out, actually, with Fabio Wardley. Oh, that's a discussion for another day. This just shows that Usyk was to bow out on his own terms, and that's exactly what he's doing. And regardless, he has proven as one of the greatest in this era in the heavyweight division. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about his final 3 fights and his final 3 opponents. How do you feel about it? And finally, according to The Ring, talks with Gervonta Tank Davis versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz is progressing for the summer. And I'm just thinking, hey, a rematch? If you didn't know, Gervonta Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz have gone in the ring and been in the ring together head to head in 2021, where Gervonta Tank Davis won by unanimous decision, and it is seen widely as one of Tank's toughest fights. Although you can then mention the fight with Roach has now entered the chat, because that could also be seen as one of Tank's toughest fights, especially as it ended in a draw. I know, a controversial draw. Many people believe that Roach won, many people believe that Tank won, but I would have thought that that would be the first rematch that he would consider. However, this could be Tank's way of being able to get back into the ring and to build momentum and to get active again. He probably thinks, you know what, I won against this guy before, so let me fight him again and win again, and then go for the rematch again with Roach. I personally, I think that rematch with Roach is just a no-brainer. It should happen. It it should happen. I think I get it. Maybe for being out the ring for so long, you would probably want like a little tune-up fight or a warm-up fight. You don't want to take any risks, and then you could then revisit any unfinished business like Lamont Roach. But hey, that's just what I think. Regardless if this fight happens at 140, you know it will be a high energy fight with 2 aggressive fighters. You guys let me know in the comments how you see that fight playing out. And if you think Tank's first fight back should be Isaac Pitbull Cruz, how do you feel about that one? But if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You guys know I love talking about all things boxing. And so I'm going to keep bringing these videos out for you guys. I do apologize for the little bit of inconsistency. I will get back on track. I do. And I can't wait to share with you guys as to why maybe I've fallen out of my schedule of posting. But I will speak to you guys in my next video. Bye for now. I'll speak to you guys then.